586125. Okay. Oh, there's enough of this. Is it on? Okay, we'll get started. Welcome everyone to the Thursday, June 5th caucus and work session of the Albany Common Council. It's our work session prior to our regular meeting. Mr. Jimenez, will you start us off by calling the roll?
Adams.
Present.
Anane. Fallon is absent. Clark. Conti.
Here.
Farrell.
Here.
Flynn. Frederick. Hoey. Here. Johnson. Keegan.
Here.
Kimbrough. Here. Love.
Here.
Robinson. Zamer.
Here.
9 present. We're also joined by City Clerk Shaniqua Jackson, Corporation Counsel Robert McGee, Research Counsel Jake Eisen, Legislative Director Brian Jimenez, Junior Policy Analyst Alyssa Kamara, and 9th Ward Intern Margaret McCallum.
Thank you. So jumping right into our agenda, we do have some guests here from Eagle Point this evening, so we're going to work to try to take things out of order. We'll be looking to take Resolution 586125 out of order to move them up to the front. So under approval of minutes from the previous meeting, I'll be offering the May 19th, 2025 meeting minutes for approval. We have no local laws for consideration this evening. On to ordinances. We'll have ordinance 66125 by Mr. Johnson. It's an ordinance authorizing the sale of the Ash Grove Place Common Alley to the Community Builders, Inc. That'll be a referral to the Council's Finance Committee. Next up, we have by Ms. Frederick, ordinance 76125. It's an ordinance authorizing certain purchases, City of Albany, estimated $9,468,000, authorizing lease financing for the issuance of the same, and sewer bonds to pay for wide roadway improvements. That's going to be a referral to the Council's Finance Committee as well. Moving on and staying in ordinances, we'll have Mr. Anani's ordinance 68-121-24. It's ordinance amending the USDO in relation to permitting the excessive.
Quick point on that. We still need to conduct the public hearing, and we seek a review.
Okay. Yep. Understood.
Kelly?
Okay.
Does that have to age because there was amendments made?
Well, we have to have the hearing, so.
Yeah, it's an ordinance, so it doesn't have to age, but we do need to have schedule a public hearing on it, as well as finalize the secret review.
Okay, thank you.
That it.
Will we be adopting the amendments at tonight's meeting so that you will have, so that would be the version that would be the subject of the public hearing and seeker, et cetera?
Yeah, we haven't discussed that with the sponsor,
Okay.
I don't
So
have
you
an answer
don't
for you
plan
at this
any
moment.
action on that tonight?
As far as I'm aware, no.
Okay. Because that would mean that at the next meeting, if you're set, you would adopt the amendments. It would mean then at the next meeting, if everything is together, you would adopt the amendments, and after the amendments are adopted, then you can notice a public hearing,
Yeah.
because you can't do the public hearing until you actually have
The
an
final
official
version.
amended version,
Right.
right?
Yeah, the plan is that amended. We just haven't had the conversation with the sponsor.
Okay. But it has to be officially amended, either tonight or the next one, before you can notice a public hearing.
Yes.
Right, so the intention will be to amend it tonight. Well, actually, we'll see what Mr. Anani has to say on it. Okay, that's it for ordinances. Moving on to resolutions. This is got, by Ms. Farrell, Resolution 546125. It's a resolution of council calling on the New York State Power Authority to align with the goals of the Climate Leadership and Community Protection Act. We'll be moving forward with voting on that. The next resolution by Mr. Conti is 556125. It's a resolution of Common Council recognizing and celebrating June as LGBTQ plus Pride Month in the city of Albany. I believe we're all listed as co-sponsors on that. We'll be moving forward and voting on that. The next, by Ms. Zamer, Resolution 566125. It's a resolution of council in support of the Honoring Our Pledge to Eliminate Anti-Semitism HOPE Act. It's Senate Bill 7034, Assembly Bill 2139. We'll be moving forward and voting on that. I believe per the head count in Caucus, we're going to all be co-sponsors on that. And next, I mentioned earlier by Mr. Hoey, we're taking out of order 586125. It's a resolution of Albany Common Council celebrating the city, excuse me, the city championship of the Eagle Point Elementary School co-ed basketball team for the first time in school history. We're all co-sponsors on that. We'll be voting on that. Okay, the next resolution by Mr. Ballerin, which, right, so I'm trying to figure out who I'm going to have. Can you intro that, Mr. Clark? It's Resolution 596125 by Mr. Ballerin, resolution honoring the life and legacy of Shirley Archie Jr., and renaming a portion of Waterley Ave in his honor. That will be a referral to the Council's General Services Committee. Then next, resolution by Mr. Anani, is Resolution 606125. It's a resolution of Council recognizing June 2025 as Caribbean American Heritage Month in the city of Albany. We're all co-sponsors on that. We're voting on that. And last but not least, we'll have an item to add by majority consent, which I'm going to have. It's by Mr. Adams. It's Resolution 616125R. And I will have Mr. Iceland explain.
Yeah, so I believe it was the last meeting that we had passed a home rule request resolution for the original forms of this legislation, but unfortunately after my conversations with Program and Council in the Assembly, they said that they needed some changes to be made to it relating to how on certain, so generally on parkland alienation, there's supposed to be a exchange of land. We are not doing that, but partly this is because this land the laws governing it date back to before this parkland alienation swap law was in place. So we were able to find a different way that will let us go ahead and alienate that land without having to do a parkland swap. So that is what this new A-print is. However, with home rule requests, the New York State Constitution very strongly protects municipalities. You know, it's to prevent somebody from saying, okay, we approve this law that says $1 million for Albany, and then they amended it to say, actually, it's taking away money from Albany. You know, you have to approve the specific print of any legislation that is being that is affecting the municipality. So with that, this is the same legislation for the same selling of the fourth family land so that it can be used for educational purposes. It's just going to allow us to move forward with the current version of the state bill.
Any questions? Okay. Seeing none, we'll move forward with that. And then one last thing, during our miscellaneous unfinished business, what I'll do is we received a report from Historic Resources Commission in relation to the Holland Avenue Tudor homes. They wanted us to declare it a historic district. We need to refer that, or I'll be referring that to the council's planning committee for further discussion and review, because we have to give an answer to what we were asked. So, and I'll take responsibility for slowing that down, and we'll move forward with that. And what I would ask is that our staff, if you could, at your earliest convenience, try to get a planning committee meeting going, so we can discuss that and move forward with that. I'll do that again towards the end of the meeting, and that's all I got. Any other questions, comments? Anyone have anything? No? All right, if not, Mr. Hoey.
Yeah, will we do a moment of silence for legislator Clay that passed away?
Yeah,
To recognize that?
Yeah.
Thank you.
So when our president gets here, will you? Thank you. Mr. Gandhi.
How would we feel about those air conditioner units, which really do create, in the past, we've sometimes turned them off during meetings?
Yeah, we can turn.
I think it makes it difficult for people to hear.
Yeah. Once we get into the meeting, yeah. Yeah. And with that, we'll just take a break until the start of the meeting. So, because oh, you know what? I missed it. No, I said it. Hold on. I know I referred this to general service. How did I skip over that? I think I skipped it. But it's going to general services. Yeah, but I'm pretty sure I didn't say it.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. I think it was
Yeah.
58, and then I was like, the other one.
Yeah. Yeah, but they're both going to general service. Sorry about that. And I'll have to remind you.
Who owns them? I printed that out at work. I've had it. I got another one with those little kids playing with a gun that from the 30s. It was this gun brand that supposedly you can't accidentally use fire. There's a site that has
Oh, well, the kid's like,
yeah, Daddy says this is safe to play with.
yeah.
We had a lot of crazy stuff. Are you going to run the meeting, you think? Or is Corey,
had a what?
is Corey going to come? Or you think you're running the meeting?
He didn't say he wasn't coming.
Okay.
So we still got a couple minutes. Just got to make sure, Brian, you didn't receive a text from Corey, did you?
No. Did he send it?
He didn't say he wasn't going to be here.
Surprise.
Yeah. Is there?
Clark. We call to order tonight's Albany Common Council meeting, Monday, June 5th, 2025. Thursday. Can the clerk please call the order?
Adams.
Call the roll.
Present.
Anani. Valorant. Clark.
Here.
Conti.
Here.
Farrell.
Here.
Flynn.
Here.
Frederick.
Here.
Hoey.
Here.
Johnson.
Present.
Keegan.
Here.
Kimbrough.
Here.
Love.
Here.
Robinson. Zamer.
Here.
13 present, 2 absent.
Thank you. And can you please rise with me and say in a pledge of allegiance, and right after that, a moment of silence. And Bill, thank you. You can. And recognize Bill Clay, one of our longtime county legislators who passed away today. I pledge allegiance to the flag. We have a lot of people here today. I'm glad the air conditioning is working. If it wasn't working, we would be in trouble. So we'll start off with, the chair will recognize Mr. Kimbrough.
Mr. Hoey.
I know. Request? Motion?
Second. Second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passes. Mr. Hoey.
Thank you, Mr. President. It's a great honor to introduce and notice Resolution 586125R, honoring the Eagle Point Elementary School co-ed basketball team. For the first time in their history of the school, they won a city championship. They played 14 games undefeated. I know one of the players actually had a broken collarbone and couldn't play in the last couple of games, but was there cheering her team on. So this is a tradition that that Council Member Johnson has started, that we're honoring our students who achieve athletics. The Albany school system is probably one of the best school systems in the country. I'm going to say it. We're very proud. Many of the council members that I sit with have children in the school district, or had children in the school district, or might in the future have children in the school district. We have a very good educational background, and it's just a great honor to be able to bring up this resolution honoring our youngest of the athletes in the Albany School District. I hope all my colleagues will support this, and congratulations to the team.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Mr. Johnson?
First of all, thank you, Mr. President. I just want to say congratulations to you, to go undefeated in any team sport is something that can never be taken away from you. Raise your hand if you know Mr. Fox. All right, you can put your hands down. Raise your hand if you know Mr. Griffin. So make sure that you tell him that Mr. Johnson asked about him tomorrow when you go to school. But I'll say this, basketball is a beautiful sport. It can open up a lot of doors for you. Don't let anybody tell you what you can't be, what you can't do, and understand that if you stay next to the love of the game will take you a lot of places. Congratulations again, and I look forward to seeing y'all play next year. Good luck.
Ms. Farrell?
Thank you, Mr. President. So my kids, when they were in elementary school, which is a little while ago now, they were on the basketball team. I will say their basketball team was on the lower part end of the score, but wow, there were incredible teams all through, like, in each school. And for you guys to have a winning record where you won every single game is incredibly impressive, because I am sure that the teams just got better with time. So that is a lot of hard work on your part, a lot of showing up, and it's also a lot of the parents running around and getting you there and cheering for you. It's a lot of support too, and a lot of support from your teachers. And so I just wanted to say congratulations and thank you so much, because this is the kind of thing, like the showing up, the hard work, it's going to serve you in such a long time. And make sure you thank everybody that supported you, because you can't win without a lot of support. So congratulations, and thank you to the support squad that's right behind you.
Any further discussion? I will just say quickly, it's not whether you win or lose, but how you play the game. And you did yourself honor, you did your school honor, you did your parents honor. So well job, good job done, well done, and continue the hard work, but most important, get A's and B's, not C's and D's in school. And remember, the community is always going to be there for you and be there to support you. So congratulations. With that being said, can the clerk be called the roll?
Adams.
Yes, co-sponsor.
Anani.
Yes, co-sponsor.
Clark.
Yes, co-sponsor.
Conti.
Yes, co-sponsor, please.
Farrell.
Yes, co-sponsor, please.
Flynn.
Yes, co-sponsor, please.
Frederick.
Yes, co-sponsor, please.
Hoey.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes, co-sponsor, please.
Keegan.
Yes, co-sponsor, please.
Kimbrough.
Yes, co-sponsor, please.
Love.
Yes, co-sponsor.
Zamer.
Yes, co-sponsor, please.
13 in the affirmative.
Resolution passes. Congratulations. And we do a group picture. Yeah. So can the boys and girls and the coaches and the teachers, can you come around? Access to the chamber. Thank you. Thank you. Job well done. So now we return back to our regular scheduled agenda, where we'll proceed to our public comment period. Because we have the number of people signed up tonight, we will have to limit the time to 3 minutes per person so that everyone gets a chance to speak this evening. Public comment period. During public comment period, you can talk about any issue or subject matter you wish to speak upon. At the time of your comments, the council members cannot address you at all during your public comments. This time is for you to share your thoughts and feelings. If council members choose to remark about your public comments, they will do so at a later time in the agenda. They cannot do it while you're at the desk or after you speak. You come to the dais, state your name and place, city, town that you live in for the record. The light will come green, and that means go, and yellow means you have 1 minute remaining, and red means conclude your remarks. With that being said, can the clerk please call the first speaker?
First speaker is Merton Simpson.
Good evening. My name is Merton Simpson, and I live at 295 Sheridan Avenue. As the Albany County Legislator for District 2, which includes Arbor Hill, Sheridan Hollow, Washington Park, and West Hill, I am calling on the Common Council to pass Resolution 54.61.25, calling on the New York Power Authority to align with the goals of the Climate Leadership and Community Protection Act. This is a critical moment to act on climate issues in New York State, with the federal administration dismantling environmental justice, impending heat waves, and skyrocketed utility costs and rate hikes. All of this as we're already on track to fall short of our state's mandated climate goals by 2030. The way we address all of these issues is by spearheading climate leadership in New York, especially here in the city of Albany. We have the ability to make it happen with the authority granted to the New York Power Authority through the Build Public Renewables Act. By seeing a build-out of at least 15 gigawatts by 2030, we can shut down our most polluting power plants, lower utility bills for our most vulnerable communities, hit our climate goals, and create thousands of family-sustaining jobs along the way. I join the city of Albany in calling for 15 gigawatts and for the future we deserve. Respectfully presented. If there are any questions, I'll entertain them.
We don't ask questions during this time. It's just for speaking. Thank you. Can clerk call the next speaker?
Tom Ellis. Tom Ellis.
Yeah. Tom Ellis, Albany, New York, North Pine Avenue. I support Mr. Simpson's comments. So I hope you're all enjoying the nice weather we've had in the last few days. With many believing that the mayoral primary is likely to be close, and with no candidate likely to obtain a majority, I urge this city to take a careful look at enacting ranked choice voting in city primaries and general elections. Regarding water fluoridation, I urge the City Council's General Services Committee to hold a meeting at which water fluoridation opponents can present science experts in person and virtually. I have an extra copy of the book, The Case Against Fluoride, that I am willing to give to anyone on the council. You may recall that more than a year ago, I provided the council with a copy and asked of each of you to at least read the chapter summaries. I have obtained another copy if any of you would like it. Okay. The book, I believe, provides considerable evidence water fluoridation is harmful or is almost certainly harmful in many ways to human health. I visited the booth of the City Water Department at the Tulip Fest last month and saw no literature or display about water fluoridation, nor was there any in 2024. Seeing as the Water Department would implement water fluoridation within the city within the next year or so if it is still going to occur, why did the city avoid any effort to inform thousands of Albany city residents? A Water Department employee told me that they had been instructed to not bring up the matter of water fluoridation and told to refer anyone with questions to the Water Department Commissioner. I hope this failure to educate city residents at the city's largest annual party is an indication that the city is moving away from water fluoridation. I have also heard that there is nothing about water fluoridation in the water bills sent to property owners. And I'm curious about how our renters who do not receive water bills, how are they going to be notified about water fluoridation, or if they are going to be notified at all? My sense is the lack of education campaign has to do with city election primary in a few weeks, the general election in November, and the desire of most elected officials in Albany to not raise awareness about what is surely going to be a controversial issue if it is raised. Thank you. And finally, I had a letter in the Times Union about water fluoridation on May 18th. I'd like to have it included in the record of this meeting. And again, I have a copy of the book. If anybody wants it, I'll bring it back to my seat. All right.
Thank you.
Nobody wants it right
Clerk,
now.
we call
Thank you.
next.
Mark
Thank you, Ms.
Dunley.
Downs.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Mark Dunley, and I live in Pilsen Kill, New York. I'm also the convener of PAWS, People of Albany United for Safe Energy. We are the Capital District affiliate of 350.org, and we got our name from the need to keep the carbon levels in our atmosphere below 350 parts per million. We are now at 427. And the Paris Climate Accord set a goal worldwide of trying to keep global warming below 1.5 degrees centigrade. We've actually breached that mark pretty much for the last 18 months. And the Secretary General of the United Nations has said that the slow action by governments at all levels have literally opened up the gates of hell. We have moved forward too slowly. We face an existential crisis. And so PAWS speaks in favor of the Albany Common Council resolution to have NYPA build at least 15 gigawatts of renewable energy by 2030. I remember in 1981-82, I went door to door throughout the city of Albany, collected several thousand signatures to create a public power system here in Albany County, which unfortunately was not adopted. I was glad that the state legislature has directed NYPA to build renewables. Unfortunately, we're falling very short of the goals for renewable energy that were laid out in the CLCPA, and we need to really spare the state to step up its game. The other thing I mentioned in terms of public power, as you may know, NYSERDA has funded a couple of pilot projects in Sheridan Hollow and also in the mansion neighborhoods in the South End to explore district geothermal. The recently passed state budget includes $40 million for municipal geothermal projects, which may fall for Albany. And we would recommend that geothermal projects that are done here in the city of Albany be publicly owned and not by a private utility such as National Grid. Thank you.
Thank you. Can the clerk call our next speaker?
Rick North.
Hello, my name is Rick North, and I'm from Wellesley, Massachusetts. My background is in nonprofit health management with the American Cancer Society and Physicians for Social Responsibility. For the last 14 years, I've worked with a large group of scientists, physicians, and dentists all over the U.S. and Canada to discontinue water fluoridation. I'd like to focus on health practices once thought safe, but later shown to be harmful. A few weeks ago, a physician colleague of mine from Wisconsin made a presentation on fluoridation to another group of doctors in Massachusetts. The word continues to spread about fluoridation's health risks. I don't know when, but it's only a matter of time before the U.S. catches up with most of the rest of the world and ends it. She told the story of x-raying the abdomens of pregnant women, once a common practice considered safe. But we now know that fetuses, radiated, have a higher risk of birth defects, intellectual and learning disabilities, and cancer. But it took over 25 years for the FDA and mainstream medicine to catch up to the documented data of these risks, a delay that irreparably harmed countless children. The same scenario is now playing out with fluoridation. Another example is DDT. It was declared safe by the medical establishment for decades. You've all been given an advertisement for it. DDT is good for me. There was scientific evidence as far back as the late 1940s that DDT was making animals and people sick and killing them. But an official FDA statement said, quote, DDT is a very valuable insecticide which has contributed materially to the general welfare. Any harm it caused was a result of, quote, errors in its use. Rachel Carson knew differently and stood up to the establishment, but it wasn't until 1972 that it was banned. Again, this delay was deadly. Science doesn't sit still, it progresses. When you voted on February 22nd last year to fluoridate, none of you had the benefit of several of the strongest, highest quality studies ever done on the ineffectiveness and health risks of fluoridation. We want the opportunity to have our experts present to the General Services Committee. They never had the chance to present last year. It's only fair they're given that chance. This is far different than being allowed 3-minute statements during public comment. And it should be by Zoom. The highest level experts in the country don't live in the Albany area. It's not realistic to expect them to come here in person. Mr. Flynn, you're the committee chair. We'd appreciate it scheduling this meeting as soon as possible.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Can the clerk call our next speaker?
Jeff Keller.
Hello, my name is Jeff Keller. I'm a resident of North Albany, 84 Walter Street, and I would like to talk about supporting Resolution 546125. I would like you to think about it as if you were a municipal energy company. What would you do? And I also would like to remind you what this resolution is about. It's about What would you rather have? Would you rather rent energy by paying installments on fossil fuels, or own the energy by building the infrastructure to generate that energy? This has already been decided. It has been legislated and improved, but it's not something is happening to hold it up. The News Channel 10, just on their website, they have an article about how power plants are aging out and they're not being replaced fast enough. They need to be replaced by renewable energy power plants. That's been decided. And what you are doing by passing this resolution is saying that we're not going to go back to what I call the politics of depletion and the resulting corruption that entails. So that's a very powerful message you're going to be sending if you vote this resolution. And it's the right thing to do. Thank you.
Thank you. Can the clerk call next speaker?
Bridget Savage Spies.
Hello, my name is Bridget Savage Spies. I live on Van Schoik Ave in Ward 9, and I'm here in support of the resolution calling on NYPA to increase its build-out in public renewables. New York has set ambitious targets for greenhouse gas reduction, which will require significant increases in our electric grid capacity. More electric cars, heat pumps, and increases in manufacturing that we're looking to attract to the capital region will require more energy, and any of us who have been outside today know that it needs to be renewable. Every major electric generation project in New York is subsidized in some way by New York taxpayers. In Rensselaer, one of the largest power plants in the region was bailed out in 2021 with $343 million in taxpayer money. The governor has made affordability in New York a priority, and yet NYPA has severely underutilized the authority that it's been given to build public renewables by the Build Public Renewables Act to lower energy costs for New Yorkers. Albany needs the lower energy costs and strong union jobs that these projects will bring, and that's why we're asking for the Common Council's vote on this resolution. Thank you.
Thank you. Can the clerk call next speaker? Can the clerk call next speaker?
Mark Schaefer.
I'm Mark Schaefer. I live on Jefferson Street in the 6th Ward. I'm policy in graduate school, and I already knew the climate would warm. Since then, the winters have gotten noticeably shorter and milder. I'm here in support of the resolution to urge the state and NYPA to build sufficient clean energy capacity to meet the target of the CLCPA, the climate law, which the state has been falling far short of increasing our renewable capacity and cutting greenhouse emissions. Now we have a climate emergency, not just for future generations, but for everyone now, from Australia to Zimbabwe, New York City flooded subways to Puerto Rico flooded everywhere, all over the world. Paradise, California turned into an inferno. New York is required to meet the target of 70% reduction in the electricity sector, and that's crucial For the other two major sectors, transportation and buildings, especially heating and cooling, have to be electrified to get off of fossil fuels. So this is central. The investment should also include energy storage and helping customers install end-use efficiency to minimize costs and environmental impacts. The private sector has manifestly failed to make anything like the investments we need. And we've seen right now huge wildfires again in Canada, making air unhealthful in the United States. The Erie Canal was shut down by flooding for 2 weeks everywhere. We also need justice for workers and overpolluted, underpaid communities. They should be preferentially hired in the 25,000 new jobs this proposal would create. Greta Thunberg told world leaders, our house is on fire. Now again, we can smell it. The Emperor Nero is remembered for fiddling. Actually, it was a liar, while Rome burned.
Thank you, sir.
Will New York's leaders be climate heroes or climate heroes?
Thank you.
Thank you. And I'd like to submit this for the record.
Yep. Clerk, call next speaker.
Michael Richardson.
I am Michael Richardson. I reside at 100 Kinderhook Street in the village of Chatham. I was a resident of Albany back in the day, back in the 90s. I was a county legislator for 12 years, and I respectfully say that when I moved out of the city, the Honorable William Clay took that seat. Wow. So I'm here to talk about this bill in front of you with the New York Power Authority building out 15 gigawatts of electricity, solar electricity, and why that is important. You certainly deal, as many legislative bodies do, with a lot of feel-good resolutions. This is not one of those. Albany has been at the forefront today. You may know that recently you signed an arrangement with the New York Power Authority to put solar panels on an abandoned landfill. That was at the forefront. That was showing leadership. Special to that piece of action is what's called the REACH program, R-E-A-C-H, it's an acronym. And you are the first one in the NYPA program to enact that option that provides some of the proceeds off the sale of the electricity from those solar panels to low and middle income households to pay their utility bills. Again, showing leadership. We're at the forefront. So we're asking you today to be at the forefront still, yet, to carry forward a resolution calling for NYPA to build out 15 gigawatts of solar energy. Now, why is this important? The Public Power New York Coalition, a few years ago, enacted the Build Public Renewables Act. It's passed in 23, landmark bill in the nation. It allows the largest public power utility in the nation, the New York Power Authority, to do more than just hydro, to actually get involved in renewable energy. That's what it's doing. That's what your program was part of. The plan that they came out with this January called for 3 gigawatts. Now, a gigawatt, that's 750,000 homes. 750,000 homes. So 6 gigawatts, that's nothing to, or excuse me, 3 gigawatts, that's nothing to sneeze at. It's meaningful. We put pressure on them, and they went up to 6 gigawatts. Still not enough. We need 15. You've heard all the reasons why we need to do this, so now we need you to step forward and show other municipalities to make this call to NYPA to do what it can do, what it must do, in order to move us as rapidly as possible off of fossil fuels into renewable energy. So thank you. It's good to see some of you again. Richard, you're still here.
He just got back. Thank you. Can the clerk? Can the clerk call the next speaker?
Tracy Sandgrier.
Good evening, council members. My name is Tracy Sangare. I live in Half Moon, and I'm a proud member of the New York State United Teachers. NYSUT has been a strong supporter of the Build Public Renewables Act, and tonight I'm here to voice support and urge you to vote for your resolution, adding more support to it. As an educator and union member, I witnessed firsthand how the climate crisis impacts our students and communities. Our students ask tough questions about the world we are living in, and frankly, we need better answers than we're providing them right now. The Build Public Renewables Act was passed in 2023 to give New York the power to meet our legally mandated climate goals. As many people have already told you, this is drastically falling short of what we need. This isn't just about the environment. It's about economic justice for working families like those I represent. My fellow union members are struggling with utility bills that keep climbing higher. National Grid's approved rate hikes mean a 19.4% increase in the first year alone, with average bills rising nearly $62 by 2026. In our capital district, 36,000 households are already energy burdened, spending more than 6% of their income on energy costs. As a union member, I also know this is about creating good jobs. The Build Public Renewables Act includes gold standard labor provisions ensuring family-sustaining union jobs. A 15-gigawatt build-out would create 20,000 to 30,000 green union jobs. The New York State AFL, CIO, and Building Trades Council have called for exactly this scale of build-out to ensure a just transition for workers. With the current federal administration dismantling renewable energy development and firing EPA staff, it's clear that leadership must come from states like New York and cities like Albany. As the state's capital, we have the responsibility to lead by example. Your vote tonight sends a clear message that Albany demands the full 15 gigawatt build-out we need. I want to leave our students a world where clean energy is abundant and affordable, where union workers have good jobs in the green economy, and where we've met the climate challenge head-on. NYSUT believes in this vision, and I urge you to vote yes on this resolution to make it a reality. Thank you.
Thank you. Can the clerk call next speaker?
Andrew Machari. Andrew. Andrew.
Hey, good evening. My name is Andrew Matrai. I am a current resident at Holmes Court in Albany, Ward 8, and I came here to speak in support of the resolution to help build out our public renewables. I think a lot of the other main important points have already been said, but I just wanted to vocalize that there are city residents such as myself who want to see this come through. And I am a day late. I don't think it's very topical here, but there was the meeting on the legislation for the accessory dwelling units yesterday, I believe, in the Planning and Land Use Committee. And I wanted to speak in support of pushing that legislation forward and building out additional housing units within the city of Albany. Over the past few years, we've learned that, ultimately, we can't depend on the federal government, we can't depend on the private sector, and we can barely depend on the state government. So I think, as a city, we have to sort of come together to address both of our housing crisis as well as like the energy crisis. Thank you.
Thank you. Can the clerk call the next speaker?
Kathy O'Neill.
Hello, my name is Kathy O'Neill. I live on Marinello Terrace in Ward 7. Hi, Sergio. And I'm here to speak in support of designating the Holland Avenue Tudors as a historic district. I'm a board member of the Delaware Avenue Neighborhood Association, and I can tell you that the Neighborhood Association supports this designation unanimously. And if I may read a letter from our board chair, Louise McNeely. Dear council members, the Board of Directors of the Delaware Area Neighborhood Association, without dissent, support the proposal to create a local historic district to protect and improve the homes on Holland Avenue known collectively as the Tudors. Our neighborhood shares a boundary with the University Heights community, and our members have long expressed concern and dismay over the ongoing neglect of these lovely historic buildings, as well as the message their deterioration sends to residents and visitors alike. And we are not alone. Across the city, Albany communities echo our concerns. Historic Albany Foundation has laid out in detail why this parcel qualifies for listing as a historic district. Our neighborhood's love of these buildings has been enhanced by learning more about their designer and builder and the prominent role they played in the lives of Albany residents. The Tudors are beautiful and interesting buildings that tell an important story about our city. We ask that the Common Council and Planning Land Use Committee recommend them as a historic district. Sincerely, Louise McNeely, Board Chair, Delaware Area Neighborhood Association. I thank you, and I hope that you will give this serious consideration. Can I include this in the
Minutes?
record?
Yes. For the record, yes. Thank you. Can the clerk call the next speaker?
Alex Gable.
Oh, thank you very much.
Hello, I'm Alex Gable. I'm from the 8th Ward, so hi, Jack. Lynn. Seen you around a couple times, but it's the first time I've been to City Hall. I also just saw President Corey Ellis at my front door this past Saturday, so lots of respect for door knocking right after a flood warning. Funnily enough, that leads into my actual reason for being here. In the last year, New York has been hit by record droughts, flooding, and wildfires. So, as everyone knows already said, the climate crisis is real, and we are seeing the beginnings of its effects in real time. I and others like me, I'm 28, are getting afraid to bring a child into this world, knowing that it will get worse before it gets better. New York has the opportunity to tip the scale ever so slightly towards a better future with the Build Public Renewables Act, but the New York Power Authority knows that we aren't on track to meet those climate commitments. I was there in person to provide public comment to them alongside thousands of New Yorkers across the state, and it did make a positive difference in their plan, but as others have said, it's still not enough. The best time to act to reduce the damage we'll see from climate change was 25, 30, even 50 years ago. The second best time to act is now. Pressure from the Albany Common Council towards the New York Power Authority does matter, and combined with the voices of others across the state can force them to improve their plan even more. So I urge you to vote yes on Resolution 546125R and to vote on it today. Thank you.
Thank you. Can the clerk call the next speaker? Oh, yes. Mr. Kimbrough has passed our first round. Make a motion?
Yes. Thank you, Mr. President. A motion to extend public comment 30 minutes.
Yes.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Can the clerk please call the next speaker?
Daniel Kirk Davidoff.
Hi, I'm Daniel Kirk-Davidoff. I live at 35 Dove Street in Ward 2. I just want to thank you all for taking up this question of encouraging NYPA to build a more full development of renewable power in New York. And I'll just keep this very brief. We're at a really pivotal moment. The U.S. Senate is about to take up this terrible bill that would zero out our actually fairly effective national climate policy. And I think anything that we can all do to weigh in right now and just say, you know, we didn't vote for that, no one voted for that. We need to maintain some momentum and keep making progress on cleaning up our electrical grid and building the kind of power sources that are going to provide reliable, long-term power for the future for our people is all to the good. I think it obviously has to be coupled with a lot more material work that will actually get stuff done, but in the meantime, we can raise our voices right now and say this is important, and so I appreciate you doing that. Thanks very much.
Thank you. Can a clerk call next speaker?
Sean Morris.
Good evening. My name is Sean Morris. I live at 24 Marinello Terrace in Albany. I serve on the board of Historic Albany Foundation, and I'm speaking today on the Historic Resources Commission's report to the Council on establishing a historic district on Holland Avenue for the buildings popularly known as the Tudors. This is just the start of a process in a continuation of a public discussion about the value of this unique collection of buildings to the city of Albany and to its residents. Historic Albany has long advocated for these buildings, and we've gathered a lot of information about them and their builders that you'll be hearing more about in the coming weeks. Albany's buildings and streets tell the story of our city and of the people who live and work here. And this is a good story, and I think you'll enjoy hearing it. It's worth hearing, it's worth preserving. Personally, I've watched these buildings closely for a long time. I live not far from them, and for 12 of the 16 years that I served on this body, I represented the 7th Ward where they're located. I watched them go from being happily occupied, to being relegated to student rentals, to being cleared out and left vacant, without putting them on the vacant building registry, I might add. It's been a sad decline, but these buildings are sound, and they deserve to be reused, and Albany deserves to have another slice of their history preserved. As you consider the HRC's recommendations, there are some things that might be useful to keep in mind. These buildings are solid. They are not falling down or structurally unstable. In fact, a recent city inspection resulted in the removal of a red X placard. The building was not unsafe. The historic district would not prevent an owner from using the building for something other than residential, and it can be incorporated into a larger project. And there are still tax credits available to those who reuse historic buildings. The Tudors are appreciated by residents across the city and across the capital region. There are newspaper articles written about them, columns written about them. You can find many social media threads and discussions. These buildings are important on their own, but they have also become symbolic of the frustration we all feel when we see good buildings being neglected, especially when the owners of the building have the resources needed to maintain and use them. We taxpayers pay the price for their neglect. Thank you all for the consideration you'll give to these buildings, and I look forward to the coming discussions.
Thank you. Thank you. Can the clerk call the next speaker?
Julie Lundgren.
Julie Lundgren. I live in the Melrose neighborhood of Albany, and I work downtown. I'm here to speak on the Tudors of Holland Avenue. I go by these all the time, partly intentionally. because they are so unique and so fascinating. If you haven't looked at them, go up close and look at the brickwork. There's nothing like it. I moved to the city in 2008 and had the chance to go inside the buildings in 2009 and get to know them. They are so unique. They are a fixture on that street and in that neighborhood, a break to the vast parking lots behind the law school and the hospital. And they could be put to great use and be beautiful again. And so thank you for bringing this up to the table, and I hope to see it supported. Thank you.
Thank you. Can the clerk call the speaker?
Kathleen Delaney.
Good evening. My name is Kathleen Delaney, and I live on South Allen Street. I would like to take a moment to talk about a concern that affects every one of us: climate change. Climate change affects our water, our air, our homes, our energy, our transportation, our agriculture, the wildlife. It affects my health, your health, and the health of those who will come after us. We have climate goals in New York State, and for the benefit and betterment of our lives, we must achieve these goals. The quicker we build public renewable power, the quicker we can shut down the fossil fuel power plants. Public renewable power can counter the devastating impact to our environment. Public renewable power will keep our electricity stable and affordable, a major concern for New Yorkers who are struggling to pay our utility bills, as those bills only get higher as National Grid increases their rates by double-digit percentage points. Public renewable power, with the goal of a 15-gigawatt build-out within 5 years, will create up to 30,000 green union jobs, retraining workers to allow them to stay ahead rather than be left behind, as happened in Appalachia. And here in the capital of New York, we should be the leader in the battle against climate change. We can no longer count on the federal government. We have to count on ourselves. I thank the Common Council for taking up the initiative to pass a resolution in support of the build-out of renewables and our climate goals. I'm counting on you to vote yes on this important resolution and for our future. Thank you.
Thank you. Can the clerk call the next speaker?
Cara Makari. Cara Makari.
Good evening. I'm Kara Macri. I live in Troy, and I'm the Director of Preservation Services at Historic Albany Foundation. I'd like to thank the Common Council for moving along the proposed Holland Avenue Tudor Historic District. It was presented to the Historic Resources Commission and had their public hearing back in September of last year, so we're very excited to see this moving along in the process. These beloved buildings are already informal landmarks. If you ask anyone that has been down Holland Avenue in the last 90 years, they'll know exactly the buildings you're talking about, and then they'll probably launch into a long conversation about them. They might even be more popular than Nipper. They certainly get a lot more articles in the Times-Union. These buildings absolutely deserve the protection and oversight that local listing provides. It is not onerous, but it does protect them for generations in the future. Since you'll all be beginning this process and we'll be getting our nomination, I won't launch into a whole lecture on the history of these buildings. But I'd like to point out that Albany has no local landmarks that were designed by a woman. These buildings are attributed to Josephine Johnson, who built or designed these and supposedly 600 other buildings in the city of Albany. She's a Canadian immigrant with no formal training as an architect. She started as a secretary at Leonard Realty, moved up to be a draftswoman, and eventually became president of the company, which is no small feat. As you go through this process, if there are any questions about the history, more information that you want to learn, we're out there as a resource. Please use us as such. And we hope to talk with all of you more about this in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Can the clerk call the next speaker?
Megan Castlehan.
Here she comes.
Hello, my name is Megan Cassingham, and I live in the western part of Albany in Ward 12. I would first like to thank the Common Council for taking up the initiative to consider a resolution in support of building out public renewable energy and reaching our climate goals. I'm here to urge you all to vote yes this evening on 546125R. As someone who was born and raised in Louisiana, and a former resident of California, I'm no stranger to the devastating effects of climate change. Now, as a New Yorker, I see that New York has very ambitious climate goals, but we need a rapid and extensive build-out of renewables to make sure that we can keep the lights and heat and air conditioning on for everyone while we phase out fossil fuels, and only the public sector can build it quickly enough to do it. In the past decade, 70% of all private renewable projects have been canceled, and so the sooner we can build public renewable power, the faster we can bring our most polluting power plants down. The newly announced North Albany Solar Project is a perfect example of a public power project done right. It's the first project to be part of the REACH program, providing energy affordability to our communities. We know Albany can lead the way, we just have to do more. Adopting this resolution is a major step in the right direction towards meeting our climate goals. So please vote yes tonight to make the most of the momentum that currently exists within Albany and the state at large. Thank you.
Thank you. Can the clerk call the next speaker?
Brendan Howell.
Hello, my name is Brennan Howell. I live in Watervliet, New York, Albany County. I'm a volunteer organizer with Public Power New York, and I'd like to start off by thanking members of the Albany Common Council for taking the time today to vote on Resolution 546125R to call on NYPA to align with our state's climate mandate by building at least 15 gigawatts of new renewable energy by 2030. I'd like to thank Councilmember Ginny Farrell in particular for being the prime sponsor of this legislation. Members of the Council, this resolution could not come at a more critical moment. This year is once again predicted to break heat records while at the same time utility prices soar, and New Yorkers are cast into economic instability thanks to the Trump administration. At the rate we are currently going, according to NYPA's own climate report, we are on track for about 44% renewable energy by 2030, significantly below the 70% mandated by the CLCPA. The practical solution is a rapid and extensive build-out of public renewables. Unfortunately, we live in a reality where an overwhelming percentage of private renewable projects fall through. Hoping that the remaining that do get us to the finish line is how we fell so far to begin with. However, with the leadership of New York State, through NYPA, we can change that reality. We can build the projects that we know we need. The North Albany Shaker Park Solar Array is a perfect example. It is the first project being built to be part of NYPA's REACH program, which guarantees lower utility bills for local disadvantaged communities, something that we desperately need. In the Capital District, there are more than 36,000 households considered energy burdened. With massive rate hikes on the horizon, Albany residents need relief from their utility costs. The benefits of the REACH program is that that relief is allocated to where the projects are built. So the more projects built in Albany, which this resolution calls for, the more we directly help our friends, our neighbors, and your constituents. It is clear that Washington isn't going to solve our problems, but we can't afford to wait. New Yorkers can lead a just transition to renewable energy, and Albany, its capital, has a responsibility to steward that progress. So I urge you, the Albany Common Council, to vote yes on this resolution. Call for New York to build 15 gigawatts by 2030 for our bills, for our climate, and for our future. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. That is the last person signed up for public comment period this evening, so public comment period is closed at this time. Moving on to approval of minutes from previous meeting, Mr. Kimbrough.
Thank you, Mr. President. I offer the May 19th, 2025 meeting minutes for approval.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed, approval of minutes from previous meetings passes. Consideration of local laws, there's none. Mr. Kimbrough.
All the local laws on the agenda are held, sir.
Thank you. Reports of any standing committees. Mr. Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Housing and Community Development Committee met on May 29th for the presentation of the ACDA budget.
Thank you. Any further standing committees? Seeing none, moving right along. Moving in consideration of ordinances. Ordinances is introduced. Mr. Johnson.
Sorry about that. I noticed ordinance 6.661.25 and ask for its introduction.
Thank you. Can the clerk please read the ordinance?
An ordinance authorizing the sale of Ash Grove Place Common Alley Tax Max Parcel Number 76.49-3-57 to the Community Builders Incorporated.
Thank you. Mr. Kimbrough.
Thank you, Mr. President. It will be a referral to the Council's Finance Committee.
Thank you. Continuing on the ordinance introduced, Ms. Frederick.
Thank you, Mr. President. I notice ordinance 76125 and ask for its introduction.
Thank you. Can the clerk please read the ordinance?
An ordinance authorizing certain purchases by the City of Albany, New York at a maximum estimated cost of $9,468,000 and authorizing the lease financing or the issuance of $9,468,000 serial bond of said city to pay the cost thereof, citywide roadway improvements.
Mr. Kimbrough.
Thank you, Mr. President. That will also be a referral to the Finance Committee.
Okay, Mr. Kimbrough.
That's it. Excuse me?
No more ordinance? Hold on.
Well, there is Mr. Anandi's.
Where? I don't see it. Sure it's on this? They said they're not doing that tonight.
He's not, right, he's not amending it? Okay.
Okay, moving right along.
Okay, thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. President. The rest of the ordinances on the agenda are held.
Thank you. Moving on to introductions of resolutions. Ms. Farrell.
Thank you, Mr. President. I notice Resolution 546125R and ask for its introduction and passage.
Thank you. Can the clerk please read the resolution?
A resolution of the Common Council calling on New York Power Authority to align with the goals of the Climate Leadership and Community Protection Act.
Discussion on this resolution. Ms. Farrell?
Thank you, Mr. President. It wasn't many years ago that there was a widespread debate on whether or not climate change was real. We don't hear those voices as much anymore because we're so deeply in the throes of climate change that it's no longer a debate. We all, even the biggest naysayers, can feel the difference in temperature. We can see the smoke from the wildfires even when they are hundreds of miles away. We can notice the droughts, we see them happening, and we also see the floods that happen afterwards because the weather is so dramatically different. We see the winds, we see trees knocked over. Everyone can see it's happening, and it's less of a debate, which is not a victory for us because it means that we are going from climate change to climate crisis. To change policy and behaviors, New York passed the Climate Leadership I'm sorry, I call it the CLCPA so much at work, I trip over what all of those words mean. So I'm just going to run with CLCPA. But, and with the necessary mandates to stop the climate crisis and truly begin its reversal. The Build Public Renewables Act was passed to give New York Power Authority the tools they needed to achieve those goals while having strong union jobs. It is especially disappointing that the NYPA strategic plan fell so short of even coming close to the necessary renewable energy generation goals to impact the climate crisis that we are in. Strategic plans matter. They provide a roadmap for every agency and authority, and it is necessary to keep New York climate goals central to every single one of them. We can't achieve them otherwise. But it is especially essential for the New York Power Authority. 25% of our greenhouse gas emissions are from power generation. Building public renewable power generation is truly the way to reverse climate change. So this strategic plan matters, and not just for the greenhouse gas emissions it will save, but it would also create an aggressive path forward so we could achieve even more climate goals. It could make a true difference. So we need to not just stop putting a Band-Aid on the climate crisis, because it's not climate change, climate crisis. We have to aggressively come after that. And that means being aggressive about our goals and being aggressive about how we get our power generation, what we're doing. Thank you to everyone that came out, and truly it matters every single time to really impact climate change. It's a million different things. A lot of my day job is spent on solid waste, energy, how we generate, energy, all of it matters, and people speaking up matters. And I hope my colleagues will join all of us in supporting this, because the climate can't wait. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just sitting here listening to one of the gentlemen speak, when I first got on the council, I was on the planning committee, and some of the points that he brought up, I reconnected with those long conversations, and it makes no sense for us to be ahead of the curve and to not take advantage of it. If we just look at the winters that we're having, they're quite different than the winters that we are normally used to having. If all over the world, you can just see things are happening that are consistent with these very intelligent people who know what they're talking about. I think that is in the best direction for us to take advantage of the opportunity of the work that we already started, because we got those, we got the telephone poles from National Grid, and he talked about those smart nodes. We have the potential to be able to utilize them. We need to step up and make this turn, because it's obvious, they've been telling us for years that the power is going to be a problem. It's going to be problematic at some point, and we shouldn't wait. We should try to be ahead as fast and far as we can to make a move. So I will be supporting this tonight, and I'm glad that this conversation was brought up, because we spent a lot of time in the planning committee talking about the potential that we have right at our fingertips with that change that we've made. So thank you.
Mr. Nani?
Thank you, Mr. President.
Please hold your applause, please. Thank you.
Go
ahead, Mr. Nani.
Thank you, Mr. President. First, I want to thank the sponsor for introducing this resolution. This council, time and time again, have shown that we care about our climate, because there is no plan B. This is our only Earth on the Cosmos. Our climate laws have changed to reflect the urgency to address the challenges that climate change present to our communities. It is only fair that we call upon the New York Power Authority, as a major player in the development and maintenance of our power network, to adapt policies that meet the guidelines of our Climate Act. The passage of this bill on the state level will continue to develop a power network that is sustainable to our future, that is also climate friendly. New York has pushed for 15 gigawatts of new renewable energy, but the Power Authority only included 3 gigawatts. While progress has been made, we need more, we need more. And the people showing up today is sending a clear message. Some of these big power companies like National Grid think we're going to stop protesting, we're going to stop agitating, we're going to stop legislating when it comes to our climate. They don't know what we know, that at the end of the day, we are going to prevail because we have people power. We have what kind of power? What kind of power? What kind of power? They want us to step back. We're not going to step back. We're going to fight back. We're going to keep on marching. We're going to keep on agitating. We will not rest until the Power Authority and all these other power companies are to treat us with the dignity and respect that we deserve. Thank you, Mr. President.
Mr. Nani, point of order. We're not here to rouse the crowd. Next time, thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, can the clerk please call the roll?
Adams.
Yes, co-sponsor.
Anani.
Yes, co-sponsor.
Clark.
Yes, co-sponsor.
Conti.
Yes, co-sponsor, please.
Farrell.
Yes.
Flynn.
Yes, co-sponsor, please.
Frederick.
Yes, co-sponsor, please.
Hoey.
Yes, co-sponsor, please.
Johnson.
Yes, co-sponsor, please.
Keegan.
Yes, co-sponsor, please.
Kimbrough.
Yes, co-sponsor, please.
Zamer.
Yes, co-sponsor, please.
12 in the affirmative.
Resolution passes. Continuing on. Continuing on with the resolutions introduced, Mr. Conti. Can the clerk please read the resolution?
A resolution of the Common Council recognizing and celebrating June as LGBTQ+ Pride Month in the city of Albany.
Discussion on this resolution. Oh, Mr. Conti.
Thank you, Mr. President. Well, this is not a feel-good resolution. I speak for a community under siege in terms of what's happening on the federal level. And I referenced some of this back in March when we passed the Transgender Day of Visibility resolution, reaffirming our support for a community that is particularly under siege by this administration in Washington. What we do here with these resolutions, while we recognize the contributions and the support and the activity and the events that are coming up, it's also an important statement and reaffirmation of our support for the LGBTQ community. I think it's kind of telling that the cover of this year's Pride Guide, which I don't know if everyone's seen, brings back a symbol from ACT UP back in the mid-'80s to late '80s when we were fighting against, when we were fighting during the AIDS crisis. Silence equals death, ACT UP. And there was a reason why they put this on the cover this year, because it's a new call for activism. When we did the Pride flag raising in front of City Hall last week, the speakers, including myself, all called for a return to activism and involvement of the LGBTQ community to really address the issues, the threats that we're confronting. We feel maybe safe in New York, but we also feel the challenges here that our sisters and brothers and others in other parts of the state, the country, feel as well. So in passing this resolution, and I want to call just to the last clause where it states that the Common Council reaffirms its unwavering support for the protection and promotion of the civil and human rights of the LGBTQ community, and further reaffirms that the city of Albany is a welcoming and sanctuary city for the LGBTQ community. And I think it's an important statement for us to make, and one that we need to stand by. So I appreciate your support for this resolution, as we've had this in the past. But as I say, it's probably more important, it's more than symbolic this year, because it's really an important statement for a community
that is under siege. And I do want to note that this weekend there will be events in Washington Park, and I will be presenting a copy of the resolution during Say It Loud BIPOC Pride on Saturday. I believe it's between 12:35 and 12:45. Members, of course, are welcome. And, of course, the Pride Parade and Festival is this Sunday, stepping off at 11:30, and I believe everyone's received information on that. And I really encourage if you can participate in that parade, because the presence of local elected officials, all elected officials in that event is, again, an important statement of our support for the LGBTQ community and our reaffirmation that we are an affirming and supportive city, and that your presence there helps make that statement. So I really encourage your participation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Conti. Any further discussion? Since you all are co-sponsors on this resolution, this will be affirmed by the saying of aye. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Resolution passes. Continuing with resolution introduced, Ms. Zamer.
Thank you, Mr. President. I notice Resolution 566125R and asks for its introduction and passage.
Thank you. Can the clerk please read the resolution?
A resolution of the Common Council in support of the Honoring Our Pledge to Eliminate Anti-Semitism Hope Act, Senate Bill 7034, Assembly Bill 2139.
Discussion, Ms. Zamer.
Thank you, Mr. President. This resolution offers our support for a bill sponsored by Assembly Member Sam Berger and Senator Kevin Parker in the New York State Legislature. The HOPE Act adopts an internationally recognized definition of anti-Semitism and is recognized in over 50 countries around the world, including the United States. So this bill amends a section in the New York State human rights law by adding this definition into the code. So with your support, this resolution can help strengthen the case for the bill's passage in the legislature, and I really appreciate all your support.
Further discussion, Mr. Hoey.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. I mentioned before the meeting to Councilmember Zamer, I'm really concerned. It seems like every week we're hearing on the news these tragedies going on. Just recently, a guy made a homemade flamethrower and burned up 13, 14 people. There was a young couple gunned down in Washington last week. This is, the violence in our society is not decreasing, and I think this is a good step to start looking at it. It's just, I'm glad that we're going to be able to vote on this. Thank you.
Further discussion? Seeing none, can the clerk please call the roll?
Adams.
Yes.
Anani.
Yes, co-sponsor, please.
Clark.
Yes, co-sponsor, please.
Conti.
Yes, co-sponsor.
Farrow.
Yes, co-sponsor, please.
Flynn.
Yes, co-sponsor.
Frederick.
Yes, co-sponsor, please.
Hoey.
Yes, co-sponsor, please.
Johnson.
Yes, co-sponsor, please.
Keegan.
Yes, co-sponsor, please.
Kimbrough.
Yes, co-sponsor, please.
Zamer.
Yes.
12 in the affirmative.
Resolution passes. Continuing on, resolution introduced, Mr. Clark.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to, on behalf of Councilmember Vallerin, introduce Resolution 596125R and ask for its introduction.
You need to do
57. 57, sir.
Is that?
57.
57 is Frederick's.
Oh, Frederick? Oh. Yeah, Clark. My apologies. I don't know where I got Clark from. Huh. Sorry, Mr. Clark. Sorry, Council. Ms. Frederick.
Thank you, Mr. President. I notice Resolution 576125R and ask for its introduction.
Thank you. Can the clerk please read the resolution?
A resolution honoring the life and legacy of William O. Law and renaming Garland Court in his honor.
Discussion on this resolution.
Who's just
Oh, just introduction. Sorry. Mr. Kimbrough.
Thank you, sir. It'll be a referral to the Council's General Services Committee.
Thank you. 50, continuing on. Sorry.
Now we're at 59.
Yes. Mr. Clark.
Thank you, Mr. President. On behalf of Councilmember Ballerin, I would like to introduce Resolution 596125R and ask,
Thank you. Can the clerk please read the resolution?
A resolution honoring the life and legacy of Sherry Archie Jr. and renaming a portion of Waterville Ave in his honor.
Thank you, Mr. Kimbrough.
Thank you, Mr. President, to referral Council's General Services Committee.
Thank you. Continuing on, Mr. Anani.
Thank you, Mr. President. I notice resolution 60.6125R and ask for its passage on a roll call thereon.
Thank you. Can the clerk please read the resolution?
A resolution of the Common Council recognizing June 2025 as Caribbean American Heritage Month in the city of Albany.
Discussion on this resolution. Mr. Anani.
Thank you, Mr. President. Today we gather to celebrate Caribbean Heritage Month in Albany. We honor the vibrant culture and invaluable contributions of Caribbean communities. From music to cuisines, the Caribbean spirit enrich our cities. Let us recognize the resilience and enrichment and achievement of these individuals of Caribbean's descendants. They have made the mark on our history. This month, let us come together and appreciate diversity and build bridges of understanding. Happy Caribbean Tradition Month.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Mr. Adams.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just want to also piggyback off of Councilmember Anane's point in regards to our Caribbean community here in the city of Albany and recognizing their value and the amazing things that they bring in terms of culture, food, all those things. But since it is coming up with Black 518 Restaurant Week, also we have included our Caribbean family to make sure that we are highlighting cuisines and also venue spaces during that week. So I support this and thank you for this resolution.
Thank you. Seeing no further discussion, can the clerk please call the roll?
Adams.
Yes, co-sponsor.
Anani.
Yes.
Clark. Conti.
Yes, co-sponsor.
Farrell.
Yes, co-sponsor, please.
Flynn.
Yes, co-sponsor.
Frederick.
Yes, co-sponsor, please.
Hoey.
Yes, co-sponsor, please.
Johnson.
Yes, co-sponsor, please.
Keegan.
Yes, co-sponsor, please.
Kimbrough.
Yes, co-sponsor, please.
Zamer.
Yes, co-sponsor, please.
12 in the affirmative.
Resolution passes. Continuing on with Mr. Kimbrough. Got an MC?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to add Resolution 6125 by majority consent.
A second on that?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Mr. Adams.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to notice resolution 61.6125R and ask for its passage. Introduction.
Clerk, please read the resolution.
A resolution of the Common Council enacting a home rule message to the New York State Legislature requesting the enactment of Assembly Bill numbered 8342A and Senate Bill number S7744A, entitled An Act to Amend Chapter 885 of the Laws of 1953, authorizing the City of Albany to discontinue the use of certain park lands for the purpose of using such lands for public school purposes in relation to authorizing the use of such lands for any school purposes.
Discussion on this resolution. Seeing none, can the clerk please call the roll?
Adams.
Yes.
Anani.
Yes.
Clark.
Yes.
Conti.
Yes.
Farrell.
Yes, co-sponsor, please.
Flynn.
Yes.
Frederick.
Yes.
Hoey.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Keegan.
Yes, co-sponsor, please.
Kimbrough.
Yes, co-sponsor, please.
Zamer.
Yes, co-sponsor, please.
12 in the affirmative.
Resolution passes. Mr. Kimbrough.
Thank you, sir. The rest of the resolutions on the agenda are held.
Thank you. Any miscellaneous business?
Yes, I've got something.
Mr. Kimbrough and then Mr. Anani.
Okay, yeah, so back in September, we received the historic district application from the Historic Resources Commission in relation to the Highland Avenue Tudor Historic District. I am referring that to the council's planning committee to make a determination on whether or not we're going to declare it a historic district.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Anani?
Thank you, Mr. President. Last couple of months, I've been just thinking about just the council as it relates to some of the issues that we all care about, particularly when it comes to some public policies. And I just feel like sometimes, one council member will come up with an idea, and sometimes, we don't come together to embrace that idea to kind of make sure that it passes. So I just want to if any council member have any ideas to move our city forward, like to work with other council members to really get it across. And I just started thinking about it, particularly with the mayoral race, where you hear about some of the policies that many of us have been advocating for, even with the neighborhood ambassador for parks. I first heard that from Hyde and other council members, and now it's becoming a big discussion, particularly in this race. And that's something that I feel like the council could have done 2-3 years ago. Another thing too, particularly with the grants for nonprofits in our respective districts. I want to thank Megan Keegan for working with me on it to really try to get it accomplished moving forward. But these are some of the examples, particularly even with the Office of Gun Violence. I'm not sure of this council member who brought it to discussion about 2 years ago. This is something that we could have done as a council. So, as I hear about some of these ideas that individual council members have pushed for in the past, I just hope that in the future, when these things come up, that we all support those council members and see it through. Even if we come up with maybe a council agenda for next term, but I think that's really needed because this body has a lot of great ideas, and if we don't stick together, these ideas will fall by the wayside. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Hyde.
Just a comment on structure. I think when we have this many people that come for public comment, we could benefit from starting public comment earlier. We have 2 caucuses. I don't really see the need to have back-to-back caucuses a week. If we have an important thing to discuss, maybe we set hearings on that Wednesday caucus, but just a general comment about structure over the last few years. I think we could be a little better with our time, and also just allowing people to speak first on agenda items. I think when you have someone come out and we actually have something on the agenda, I'd like to hear from those people first. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Kimbrough.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Second.
In favor?
Aye.
Meeting motion passes. Meeting adjourned.